Aloha, everybody. My name is Kanani Sato, and I'm your orientation leader for today's session, Student Recreation Services and Warrior Recreation Center. Before we get started, I'd like to cover some housekeeping items for today's webinar. Firstly, you should be able to hear me clearly, and if you cannot, please note that in the chat box so that we may troubleshoot this issue with you. Simple fixes include using the connecting your audio button in the bottom left corner of the Zoom window, turning up your computer volume, or using external headphones. Secondly, please utilize the Q&A function if you have questions for the presenters or about what was shared. For most sessions, all questions will be saved for the end of the presentation. Additionally, participants in the chat are asked to be respectful of others and stay focused on the topic of this webinar so those with questions can easily be seen. Finally, after the session, we will be uploading the recording of this webinar to the Visit Days platform in the video section. All recordings will have closed captioning. Now, I would like to welcome and introduce today's presenters, Aaron and Amanda, and with that, I'll turn the presentation over to them.
Hi guys. Good morning. Aloha and good morning. Thank you for taking your time out today to meet with us so we can discuss and share with you folks student recreation services at the University of Whyamanda, and we can share with you what services we provide, what units fall under us, and how we can enhance your student life on campus. Today, sorry to introduce myself, I'm Aaron Bain. I'm the operations coordinator for Student Rec Services, and today I have with me Amanda Lum. She is one of our lead student managers in the Warrior Recreation Center. I'll turn it over to Amanda. She's going to go through a short presentation where we will highlight all of the services that are available to you through Student Recreation Services, and we'll do a short Q&A shortly after.
Okay, so for the Student Recreation Services, we do have an umbrella of things that we have here. So we handle informal recreation, intramural sports, outdoor education, and recreational sports council. So for intramural informal recreation, that includes everything from the rec center, basketball, volleyball, badminton, table tennis, regular tennis, and free swim. So at the Warrior Recreation Center, we do have a 4-step process upon entrance. That includes taking your temperature, showing your Lumicite daily check-in, presenting your Manoa 1 card, and removing your face mask so that we can verify that you're using your own ID. What you need to work out at WRC, you would need your Manoa 1 card, a CDC appropriate face covering. You would need to be wearing that upon entrance, and no gaiters, bandanas, or masks with vents are allowed. Appropriate clothing, covered-toe shoes, your Lumicite app check-in, and a water bottle. Our water fountains are, the regular spout is not in use, but the water bottle function is. And then equipment here at the WRC. Upstairs, we do have our squat racks, Smith machines, benches, and platforms. On the track, it consists of cardio machines like the Stairmaster, treadmills, ellipticals, and bikes. Downstairs, we have exercise machines on the courts. We are utilizing the courts to have the cardio machines, exercise machines, and individual workout areas. So right now the courts are not being used for volleyball or basketball to follow the 6-foot social distancing guidelines. The equipment checkout station is located on the courts. Some of the things that you can use there are resistance bands, foam rollers, kettlebells, and jump ropes. So changes that were made to the WRC memberships and services. Some of our changes include the lockers and showers. So locker rooms are not being utilized, but our restrooms are. So we do have 2 restrooms, one located on the 2nd floor and one on the 1st floor. All patrons are encouraged to carry their items with them while working out in the facility. There are designated like boxes at each workout station that you can place your belongings at. Laundry and towel services are currently suspended until further notice, and memberships are currently only available to current fee-paying students and active membership holders. All buddy passes are suspended until further notice. So for intramurals,
Intramurals is basically like the standard traditional league play. It's where you would basically just sign up and go for about 3 to 4 weeks for your standard system of play for fall and spring semester. We don't offer anything for intramural leagues during the summertime. You can read through the slide if you'd like to, but basically it's there to provide like a traditional season type environment where you'd be able to sign up as a free agent or a team, or register and try to join a team. And it's held online. You can go to the next slide. So in order to get involved, you would have to sign up and register at imleagues.com. Once you sign up there, you would have to put in the domain for the University of Hawaii. And then it's going to run you through a series of steps where you will be able to select the University of Hawaii as your primary campus to participate. Once you do that, you'll be able to, again, register as a free agent, register as a team, or join a team. In order to get involved, you obviously need your UH Manoa 1 card for all scheduled games because they do check your IDs. Other than that, they may have implemented some type of temperature checking, as well as double checking for Lumicite app, which is pretty much a standard process all throughout campus. Just as a side note, if any of you students are going to be participating in any services aside from student rec services on campus, it's almost standardized that everybody downloads the Lumicite app in order for staff members of the university to check if they're experiencing any symptoms, so that they can keep everybody on campus safe. Aside from that, team captains are responsible for all of the team members, and they're required to attend captain meetings at the beginning of each season. At the beginning of each season, they'll go over a team captains meeting, so you get to meet all the different team captains, and they'll highlight all of the rules and regulations for each sport. And it'll provide each captain an opportunity to ask questions about the adjusted rules, because they may not be your standard rules specifically. For instance, like football or volleyball or basketball or anything like that. So they'll give each person an opportunity to read through all the rules and regulations, and then they'll open it up for questions and make sure that everybody's on the same page when they show up to compete. Next slide. So the leagues for this semester will be basketball, indoor soccer, flag football, co-ed volleyball, and then next semester they're looking to have soccer, softball, ultimate frisbee, and men's and women's volleyball. Just a side note, for any of the events that we're highlighting in the presentation today, it may be subject to change. Right now we're trying to work with our director to figure out, if there's going to be any changes, or if they're still going to go through having indoor competitions, simply because of the restrictions that everybody's operating off of. So just take note that this is all tentative for both the fall and spring sports, which may be subject to change, unfortunately, just because of the safety restrictions and guidelines that we're trying to follow to keep everyone safe. Okay.
So outdoor education is basically any outdoor activity that would happen outside of campus. So as of right now, for this semester, we are looking to introduce outdoor classes such as scuba, beginning sailing, beginning surfing, stand-up paddle boarding, kayaking, snorkeling, hiking. So all of these right now are going to be like happening, but at the same time, like what Aaron said, it is subject to change. Water activities are required. You are required to take a swim test. So you would do the swim test down at the lower campus pool. And then these are some of our frequently asked questions, like how do you sign up for outdoor programs? So for that, you would stop by our office located down at the lower campus, or the Warrior Recreation Center during our operation hours. And then when do I pay for the program? You would pay for it when you sign up. And Do you need to know how to swim to participate in outdoor program? Yes, you do for the water activities. And then is transportation provided? Transportation will be provided for the first 10 people who sign up for the class.
Just to highlight for like the outdoor program, so like the three key things to that is that they sign up. There is a fee involved because typically that fee is paying for the instructor that's holding the session, as well as the people that are attending, and then it's also covering the cost for the van, which is going to take you guys to the event location. So that is not included in your fees that are also a mandatory rec fee, which is like already implemented into your tuition and fees though. To highlight that part, the use of the rec center and most of our services are all already included in your tuition and fees. So don't worry about having to pay for usage of the gym unless somebody is not already directly like paying the tuition and fees though. So sorry, just to cover that portion for you. The recreational sports council. So basically this is the programming unit of student rec services. They are similar to the activities council in the sense where they program events on a weekly basis throughout the semester. Their goal here really was to provide an alternative opportunity for students to get active on campus, specifically on Friday night events, because we understand that, you know, the student's social life is very much different, and we wanted to be able to provide a healthy alternative rather than just staying in your dorm all weekend or going out on a Friday night. We wanted to be able to offer students the opportunity to compete in sports such as dodgeball, flag football, or basketball. But these events are pretty much single elimination or double elimination events where you can compete for bookstore gift cards, where you'd be able to buy textbooks, clothes, or tech gear that would be able to help with your basic college needs. The Warrior Fitness Challenge, which is also ran through our programming arm, is the newest branch of our programs, and which is basically a fitness challenge that we hold in the Warrior Recreation Center for the fall and spring semester. So basically what you would do is that you would come in when we're holding like fitness events for a series of, I think, 5 to 7 days throughout the whole week. And you can compete in any one of the events. You don't have to compete in all of the events for the whole week. You can just compete in, like, say if there's an event on Monday or Tuesday, you can choose to do a single event and compete and possibly win a gift card. And we usually try to reward our participants for taking the courage to come out and be fit and be active on campus. So they have gift card prizes for first and second place, and we try our best to make sure that somebody walks away with something, regardless of, you know, who the top person is in that category. For throughout the year, this is what we've done in the past. Not to say that this is going to be the legit schedule for this year, but in the past we've had co-ed dodgeball, 2-on-2 volleyball, which is a little bit different. We do that indoors. Mario Kart, 2-on-2 basketball, 3-point shootout contest, badminton. We do the esports component is like our newest thing, so Super Smash Bros. Soccer skill competition, and then our strength competitions, which is held down at lower campus. That pretty much sums up like the overall services. I know it's a lot to take in, but I really would like to let you folks know that our job here is to make your life on campus a little bit better and more enjoyable on campus. So we're here to enhance your student life while you're going to college. We usually pitch to students that it's not all about going to class, but how you enjoy your lifestyle and how that enhances your time out in college though. So we hope that you can come here and join us and make use of the services that we offer to you folks. And I guess we'll open it up for Q&A. We provided this last slide so that if you folks have any questions or would like to follow any of the events that we have upcoming, or if there's any changes to our policies or anything that is relevant to student rec services, then you can go ahead and follow us at the Instagram handle there on the bottom. And then, or you could also email us at RecHi directly if you have any questions that you want to direct towards us that you don't feel comfortable putting out in the chat or asking today. But
okay, as folks are putting their questions in the chat, let's see, maybe Erin, you can share with us your favorite thing about the rec center.
My favorite thing about the rec center, Hmm. Well, I may be like dating myself here, but prior to the rec center being built in 2014, we only had like a 7,000 square foot gym for a campus that I think services about 20,000 students in total, maybe a little bit less than that. So it's really, really difficult to find a place to work out on campus, especially with it being super, super crowded at the gym that we had previously. So just being able to have a student gym on campus, I think that is really, really convenient for our students, faculty, and staff. My favorite piece of equipment in the facility is our squat racks and our platforms, just because, just like anybody else, I'm following the fitness trends here, and I kind of jumped on like similar to like CrossFit style workouts. So I like using Olympic lifting to be incorporated into my workout sessions, just that type of stuff. But overall, having the gym on campus has been a great highlight and addition to the overall campus as far as buildings and facilities. I think that it's a great highlight point for students to want to stay on campus, and it's really good because it's located right in the center of campus for those of you that haven't visited us yet. So it's a good beacon for students to come and see what the campus has to offer, especially when the campus closes down after 4:30, and we're really pretty much like the only facility that's open after hours, aside from like the dining facilities located in the dorm areas. So look forward to seeing you folks on campus and spending your leisure time with us here.
Amanda, what is your favorite area of the recreation center?
I would have to say probably the cardio area. Yeah, so after a long day of taking classes and whatnot, getting that cardio in just really relieves stress and the headache of having to sit in class.
Oh, good. And that actually will bring me to one of the questions we discussed before the webinar started, was talking about like good times to kind of go to the WRC to avoid crowds. So is there times that are maybe less busy than others that you can generally anticipate?
So here right now, due to like the pandemic and everything, from opening, so we do open the facility at 6 a.m. and then during the new semester we will be closing at 7 p.m. So throughout the last 2 semesters, we've been seeing a spike from about 3 to 5 p.m. is normally our like busier times, and then the other times throughout the day are pretty like slower, not too many people in the facility. So I would say the more like busier times would be around like 3, 4, and 5 p.m.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of students want to find that balance where they can still come in and do some recreation and get their cardio on, as you said, but not have to maybe wait as long for a machine to open up or do things like that. So thank you for sharing that. And we had some wonderful questions come in, so I'm going to go ahead and jump to those. So in our chat, somebody asked, how do you sign up for outdoor activities? They wanted to sign up for stand-up paddleboarding.
So you can come to the front desk of the Warrior Recreation Center or visit our SRS office down at the lower campus. So you would just need, like the slide said, your student ID, and then you can just come to the front and just be like, hey, I want to sign up for stand-up paddleboarding. You would just fill out the paperwork, and then we would run that transaction there.
Oh, great. And so, and I had another question come in about kind of keeping up on all those programs. Maybe they're not able to go to the WRC as much, but they really like that stand-up paddleboarding or some other sort of opportunity. Is there a way to receive updates about those types of programs and not have to technically, I guess, go to the WRC in person?
Yes, we do have this new, what we call the email list. So if you are interested in receiving updates about that, we can put you down on our email list and we'll send you any updates that come through during the semester. You can also follow us on Instagram. We are pretty active on there. And then if you want to like send us a message or a DM, you can also DM us on our Instagram or email us through our rechi@hawaii.edu.
That's great. Thank you. And thank you. We have one of our panelists is adding in the email. We also see it on the screen as well for any of our participants. It's rechi@hawaii.edu, and the Instagram is at UHM_SRS. So follow along with that. And then a couple more questions. Let's see. So one question is, for scuba divers, will tanks be available to rent, or will they need to own their own tanks?
So for the scuba diving program, when they sign up, that's actually to get like a scuba cert. So we actually contract out in order to get a specific set amount of classes throughout the semester set up. So if people wanted to go out and rent, once they're certified to do scuba diving on their own, after they've gone through the class, or say like they've actually already have a scuba cert, then typically what they would do is that they would try to contact the company that we're contracting with for this fiscal year, and they would try to work with the instructors to maybe that they could actually just rent from them directly. We usually don't carry any type of scuba equipment because it's provided by the people that run the training sessions for the semesters.
So those scuba diving opportunities, those programs that you have, those are to get certified. Are there any that just go for fun? Like we're all certified, we're just gonna go have fun in scuba?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me clarify. There's two different types. There's a scuba certification class, and then there's also a outdoor education class where it's just a scuba, like it's like a snorkeling class. Those are two different things. Like the scuba cert is actually like with the scuba gear, the mask, and the tanks. Scuba diving or like just like snorkeling is pretty much like where they provide like the mask and the snorkel and stuff like that. That's more like just like where they take you out to some pretty like I guess hot spots where people would go scuba dive or like snorkeling out there.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I think that's a common interest for students, especially in our environment here. Now, this is one of my favorite questions because I actually get asked this a lot, is are there still student positions at the WRC for employment?
Yes. So we're always looking for students. So there's two positions available. We have two units. We have our front desk unit, which is what I coordinate with and what Amanda is the lead manager for. And then we also have our operational unit, which are the students that work out on the floor. They take care of any of the operations that are beyond the front desk. So we have those two positions. So it's a front desk office assistant position, and then we have a service associate position. And if people are interested, you can directly email us, and then we'll go ahead and send you the job position numbers and then try to get you all set up. We usually send out information on how to access the student employment website, how to log in. I'll make sure that you log in correctly, and then just punch in the job position number, and then it should pop up, and then you should be able to add that to your job cart. And then if the job is open, then we'll be able to see you as soon as you add that to your job cart.
Erin, can you talk a little bit more about the work environment at WRC? Because it is unique, and when we have student workers in other offices, they're usually, supervised by, I don't know, a director or something like that, but you've got a really great organizational setup at the WRC. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. So the one unique thing about the Student Work Services Department is that I want to say we're like 90% student ran. So we do have our full-timers who have oversight of the programs, but in order to create a really large, like bigger learning environment, we have students ranging from our frontline staff, which will be our associate positions, all the way up through our student managers, our lead managers, shift managers, and then we even have graduate assistants that are in an operational division that actually look at the whole oversight of the program and how they would reformat everything. So we really give the students full, like free reign to actually tailor their work experience, whether it's creating policies, creating schedules. Specifically, we try to tailor the work environment to, I guess, meet their academic and educational needs. So for instance, if people are taking some type of like accounting class and they want to get more experience, like maybe working at the front desk will give you a little bit, not extensive experience in it, but at least you'll be able to work in an environment where you get to look and crunch numbers in our environment here at the front desk. But if people are more hands-on and they like interacting with people, then we usually try to recommend both sides, because you do get a good feel for working with people on a daily basis, just because by nature of the job, we're always encountering people walking through the front door and working on in the facility. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I think it's really unique because it's completely student ran. Although we do have full-timers that have oversight over it though, we want to make sure that it's student run in the sense that we're meeting the students' needs. Um, so we try to evolve as the students evolve over time. So I think that the biggest thing is to make sure that we're keeping up with the times here. Everything is evolving, and technology has created an environment where everything is changing rather quickly, so fast. Um, so it's really a plus side for me to have students on my side so that I can understand. Otherwise, there's going to be a huge gap if it's just me relying on myself to get the job done. So I'm really thankful that our students are the ones driving the program here, and I'm just here to support their needs.
Thank you for sharing that. And Amanda, can you share a little bit about why you chose to work at the WRC and why you still work at the WRC after that?
So I started working here, I don't know, way past before the pandemic. And, you know, I, in the beginning, was just looking for an on-campus job, something that would, you know, work around my class schedule and something that was more convenient. But I do feel like I really grew from being able to work here. Like Erin said, it is almost like 100% student ran. So I do feel more involved, and I have like, was able to grow and, you know, like take more responsibility for like the work that I do here. There's literally no restrictions to ideas, or, you know, like anytime we pitch something to our supervisors or, you know, like to Aaron, he's always like, yeah, if it works, like, let's do it, you know? So it's very like, they're super supportive. And I do feel like the environment here is not just, you know, come to work and get work done, but it's more of a come to work and be able to see like your ideas come into play. So I do think being able to work here at the WRC really helps, not just on my personal side, like, you know, the personal aspect of it, but being able to get that experience and, you know, get out there. And it's a great place to work on campus.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I always get requests on where people think that they should work, and I always say WRC because it seems like such a great work experience. So I always say that. Now there is a question about rock climbing. So do you have rock climbing in the WRC?
Unfortunately, we do not. Our facility was very limited on space. We did have a rock climbing, it's a machine, like a bouldering wall where it would just oscillate, almost like a rock climbing treadmill, if you will.
Oh.
But due to the space and restriction and we had to kind of gauge and look at the frequency of users. So that was one of the equipments that kind of just got pulled off the floor because not too much people were using it. For people that are more experienced in rock climbing, we usually try to direct them towards like the off-campus bouldering gyms. Unfortunately, yeah, we are so sorry that we're not able to provide that service to you folks on campus for those of you that are looking to get some extensive rock climbing in right now.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there is a question about where specifically they should rent scuba equipment from. I don't know if you want to address that now or if they should just email you. Do you have a preference?
They can email us. We'll just go over it real quickly. So all the rental equipment that would be offered through our program would be done at the lower campus. It's located next to the track. They have a huge like outdoor shed out there where they house all of the outdoor equipment. So they usually are renting out like surfboards, stand-up paddle boards, like snorkeling gear, and then they also do outdoor stuff like tents. If people are going to go camping and stuff like that. So that's all done at lower campus, and you'll be able to visit the lower campus office. And then once you get that all set up, they'll direct you down to the shed where you'd meet up with one of our associates with the outdoor ed program. And then they will be able to get you taken care of.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Somebody has asked, do you teach how to lift?
Right now we're not teaching people how to, we don't hold any like individual like fitness classes. I think that it was kind of like, because we share we used to share the facility with the kinesiology department. They do have classes where it's like Olympic weightlifting and then like general weightlifting in the KRS department. But we try to encourage our employees to speak with the patrons for who are new to the facility and new to working out. So overall, our student employees who are working out on the floor have a general understanding on how to use all of the equipment in the gym. Not to say that all of them are fitness professionals or like nationally certified for to be a trainer or anything like that, but they do have a general understanding of how to use the equipment in here. So kind of yes and kind of no, but if you're on a more beginner or just starting out your fitness journey, then I think we will be able to help just because we go through an extensive like training process for our workers to understand what equipment we have in here, how it's laid out, and which equipment works out what specific group of muscles.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And while we wait, if any of our other participants have any questions, please go ahead and you can either use the chat or you can use the Q&A box, whichever you would like. Totally up to you. You can also submit them anonymously by using the Q&A box and clicking the submit anonymous, or if you chat to the host and panelist, I won't say your name out. So you don't have to worry about, it can still be anonymous in that way. While we're waiting for more questions, Erin and Amanda, if you could quickly to go back through what a student can expect when they enter the WRC, what kind of steps they have to do to get, to be able to use the services.
So we do have a 4-step process upon entrance. So each individual who is coming to the facility would need their UH Manoa 1 card. They need to be wearing, of course, their proper face mask, and then present their Lumicite UH check-in for the day. So with their ID card, they would present, just hold it up, remove their face mask so that we can verify that it is their ID. And then they would scan themselves through.
Great. And I know we were talking also before the webinar started about safety protocols that are in place in the WRC. Can we go over those again one more time too?
Yeah, of course. Right now we're still implementing it's 6 feet social distancing. So if you stop at the rec center today, or if you look into the windows or anything like that, you'll see that the gym equipment is actually spread out by 6 feet distances in order to be following like the safety guidelines. Aside from that, we did implement like a new cleaning procedure. So you'll see signs on the floor that say like in use or needs to be cleaned and stuff like that, because our students who work on the floor are also in charge of cleaning the machines once patrons are done using it. It's not like your typical commercial gym. I think the commercial gyms right now may have gone almost back to normal, where they encourage people to clean and wipe down after themselves and prior to using any equipment that they have. Our students are also tasked out with cleaning the machines to make sure that it gets done in an appropriate manner, to make sure that it's clean and it's safe for people to use. Because we understand that being in a gym where there's high touch points, whether or not there's like one piece of equipment that's more used than another, we want to make sure that everybody is in a safe environment to work out.
Thank you. And we'll give it a couple more minutes. If anybody else has any other questions, just one last question about, let's see. We already asked you what your favorite part of WRC, but how about what's one unique thing that WRC or Student Recreation Services offers that maybe a student wouldn't know is available?
I think that for us, prior to actually COVID, I think, I'm so sorry for cutting you off, by the way.
No, I was just going to say, I already didn't know about Scuba, so I've already learned something, but go ahead, Erin.
Yeah, I think that the two biggest things for us is that falls under our outdoor education department. Like students are a little bit excited when they hear about that, like when the outdoor program is being run, like the transportation is already provided. So it's not like it's a pretty daunting task if a student is already unfamiliar in an unfamiliar place as it is. So if they think that they have to go and meet up in a place, whether it's down at North Shore or if it's down on the west side, they can kind of rest at ease there, because transportation is already provided for you folks. And the other thing would be, I think prior to COVID though, the rec center actually did offer towel and laundry service, because we did have our showers that were open. We're one of the few facilities. It's not like a high-end fitness club, if you will, but we did try to offer the patrons who were renting lockers with us a laundry service, where if they would work out, then they'll be able to throw their laundry in, and then we'd wash it and it'd be ready for them like the next day within a 24-hour period. But right now that's like, it's kind of been suspended or on hold until further notice, until we can engage with and work with our custodial staff to make sure that they have a pretty clear and laid out safety guideline on how they're going to be cleaning and schedule timeline of when they're going to be cleaning the locker rooms. So we're still trying to work with our custodial supervisors to make sure that they have a scheduled plan, so that we maybe be opening up that in the fall. But I think that that's the one thing that's different from a lot of the other recreational departments that you'd find in like some of our peer institutions. And the reason why we implemented that is because we understood that, number one, there's like a huge parking issue or shortage sometimes. Like sometimes like the parking lots can get full. I know that prior to the pandemic, like if you pretty much came after 10:30, you would be struggling to find parking in the parking structure, or you'd have to park off campus and kind of like just meander down through Manoa and just find your way to campus. But if people were already on campus, for instance, like our faculty and staff are like the biggest users of it, it's more of a convenience thing where they wouldn't have to jump in their car and go anywhere else. They could pretty much bring their gym clothes with them while they could work, and during their lunch break they would work out, shower here, go straight back to work. And they really had a really convenient schedule for them that kind of just allowed them to stay on campus without having to go anywhere or sit in traffic for half an hour. Especially being in like the Honolulu area, traffic is like one of the biggest things that people fail to actually, I guess, think about when they're trying to like figure out their schedules. So that's like one of the other key highlights about the rec center that's different from others.
Thank you. What about you, Amanda?
Well, prior to the pandemic and COVID, we offered fitness classes here. So that was one service that like a lot of people were interested in. We in the multipurpose room here, we would have anything from like dance classes or like, all of those like Zumba classes and whatnot. So that was all, of course, pre-pandemic, but as of right now, those services are currently suspended.
And hoping for them to come back, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Because before, prior to everything like shutting down and slowly like decreasing on campus, like the services decreasing on campus and stuff like that, our hours used to be open till 10:30 at night. So we really would stay open and try to be like a hub for students to stick around and hang out on campus, whether they're living in the dorms or if they're commuting from far away on the island. We really wanted them to stay on campus and feel welcome, and as if like it was kind of like their home away from home. And we kind of found that being open past 4:30 for students was like a great thing, because it allowed them to stay on campus, be active. They would study in the library and come and find us and work out till like 7:30, and then they would go home, which is when traffic pretty much would die down. So that was a great thing to hear about from the feedback that we got from our students and our faculty and staff as well.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I think we've gotten to all the questions. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to our orientation leader.
So pretty much thank you for joining us today. We really hope that you gained some helpful information from our wonderful presenters. And if you have any further questions or questions that were not discussed in today's meeting, please email your orientation leader or at nrwo@hawaii.edu for assistance. That email again is nrwo@hawaii.edu for assistance. And as mentioned earlier, this webinar will be posted on the new student orientation platform, so the NSO platform. Please visit that page for the recording, as well as links or documents that were mentioned by today's guests. So mahalo everybody, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you guys.
Bye,
You guys have a good day.